Let's get the mic fucking closer to you. I won't be able to hear you. No.
Hey.
You want to hold
I'm
it?
the fucking guest. I'm the fucking guest. I could do whatever I want. Well, give me the fucking smoke.
3, 2, 1. Christ, this is starting like this?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Sparks are going to fly. Right, Joe? Watch this, Joe. Sparks are going to fly, buddy. Hey, how am I supposed to cut this when I'm holding the
I
mic?
told you to use the fucking mic stand. Here, let me cut your cigar for you, sir.
Oh,
Bill Gedey.
you. Thank you.
Bill Gedey.
Thank you.
Biggest cigar I could find. Is that good?
Oh,
I
yeah,
can hardly fit this in my cutter. It's so big.
That's good. All right.
How the hell you doing, man?
Wow, fucking A1, man.
People are gonna see this. Not many, but a few, right? The Italia. Yes, I see you've come prepared. You've got.
I got it in Italy.
You got dog turd cookies.
Oh yeah.
And you got some dusty old awards you received. You got your Goodfellas hat on, and you've got your Italia lighter. And I'm wearing a Guinness jacket.
I got that in Italy.
Yeah, I know.
I love it, man. I love fucking Italy. I love it.
So, I want to know a little bit about you, buddy. Let's start off with place of birth.
Montreal.
Montreal. Is that a fact?
Yeah.
Get that closer.
Montreal.
I'm not going to be able to hear you.
Montreal, 1946.
Yeah?
Then my dad was a chemical engineer with Minor Rubber Company in Granby, Quebec, and I lived there for 5 years, first 5 years. And then we moved to Toronto, and he worked for Monsanto.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Those evil fuckers.
Listen, man,
they
were
okay?
so good to him.
Yeah.
When I was, 6 years old, he got sick with polio.
Oh.
He was in the hospital for 9 years.
Oh, shit.
In an iron lung.
Oh, boy.
He's in a fucking iron lung. That guy's my hero, man. He spent all that time in there. Finally got home when I was about 15.
Yeah.
Came home.
Yeah.
And 15, and then he died at home when I was 18. I found him in the morning.
Oh, shit.
First dead guy I'd ever seen.
Yeah.
I found my old man.
Yeah, that's got to be...
Well, that, I don't know. That got me down the road, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. But
Right?
still hard, right? It must have been fucking...
Yeah, well, it was a shock, I'll tell you, man.
Yeah.
It was a shock. Yeah. So anyway, I learned to drive on a 1950 Chev Coupe.
So, okay, not everyone's going to know that you're an absolute car nut. So we're going to probably talk cars and military and...
Yeah, I don't know that much military. I'm not so much military.
Okay, but you like planes.
Cars, I like anything.
Yeah,
right?
Anything with a
like
an
tanks,
engine.
I like aircraft. I like aircraft museums.
Yeah.
I like bikes. I like racing.
Okay.
And
you were a paramedic for most of your working career.
38 years.
Okay.
12 years in Metro Toronto, and then 26 out here.
Okay. Cool.
In BC.
Because I want to hear a few of your stories from being a paramedic too.
Oh well, fuck! I got
yeah. Just a handful of the best ones.
You got a bucket you can puke in?
Yeah. Try me. We're outside. I can hose her down after we're done. Fuck.
All right. Let's see. So I learned we're going to go through cars.
Are we going to do cars?
Are we
going to relate your life to the automobile?
Oh, it's going to be a little bit everything.
Okay. Yeah.
So there's a 50 Chev 6 Standard I learned to drive on. Then there was a 58 Ford ex Monsanto company car was the next thing in the driveway.
Okay.
Then
and these are your cars?
No,
or just
these
cars
are
in
these
your
are
life?
family cars because I was still too young.
Right.
A 59 Jaguar 3.8.
Ooh.
That's what my old man bought. Right? And he was looking, not at that point. He liked cars, right? And he was out of the hospital and at home by now. Yeah. But he had to have something where he could stick his wheelchair in the trunk.
Right.
Because he's still waltzing around a wheelchair.
Yeah.
So I drove that on and off, back and forth through high school. And in high school, I had 2 Bug Eye Sprites.
Oh, nice. Those are cool.
Yeah.
Were they stock motor, basically stock cars?
Yeah.
What do they have for horsepower? Like 15?
Fuck all, man.
Like 20 maybe? They were really low.
I know.
But people used to put like Cortina GT like cross flows or 1500s in them or something. They would go real good.
Yeah, but that's Ford. That's Ford, right?
I know.
In order to put a Ford in a Bug Eye, I think it was...
What were they putting? Maybe that wasn't the engine.
Well, no, I think it was just easier to hop up. I never saw personally never saw a hopped up Bug Eye Sprite, but I saw like Sebring Sprites and stuff like that. They made different fiberglass front ends for them.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
But I never saw anybody hop up, even up at Moseport, when I was up at Moseport with the boys racing. I never saw anything other than like a G production, or H production.
Yeah, so they're pretty stock.
Yeah. They're
just
pretty
running around.
There's not that much. Well, how much could you do to your midget? Really?
I don't know.
Eh? They weren't doing engine swaps in them for sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't bother with that car anyway.
No. Okay, so then I had a 19. Oh no, we're going to. That was my high school years in the Jag, right?
Right.
And my old man's Jag. So I had my 2 Bug Eye Sprites, and it's funny, in high school, I was never a jock or anything like that. I was a sports car guy, right? And
yeah, like me, losers.
Yeah.
All the misfits were sports car guys, right?
Yeah, and that's where I met Annie.
Ah.
All right, Annie was in my grade 12 class.
Well, that's funny. I met my first girlfriend in my mechanics class.
Yeah. So she was in my grade 12. My
That's
second time around in grade 12. Okay, because I didn't make it the first time. I wasn't that smart. I may have been good looking, but not that smart.
I would have figured it being the other way around.
No.
Not that good looking, but pretty smart.
Yeah. So anyway, that's where I picked up 59 Healy 2-seater BN6, which it's a 106 model, and it's pretty rare.
Yeah.
It's pretty rare. I took it down to the 1965 U.S. Grand Prix at Watkins Glen.
Oh, so
October 1965. Me and my buddy went down there, and we drove down. We drove all night to get there, went across the border. It's October. It's raining. It's fucking cold.
Yeah.
And I forgot the side curtains. So we had the tonneau cover up.
Right.
Yeah. We had the tonneau cover up.
Cover?
Yeah.
What do you mean by tonneaus are the flat cover?
Yeah. So we had the tonneau cover up. We had the roof.
Oh.
And the tonneau cover.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But no side windows.
Oh, Jesus.
So anyway.
Tonneau cover's good for fuck all.
It was good for him because he had it up all the way over his side, and he had his head sitting on the headrest or the tunnel.
Oh, so he was
and
like under
slept.
the tonneau cover.
Yeah, he slept
in that car.
Yeah,
Jesus.
He slept all the way down.
What was he, like 4 foot tall?
No. It was my buddy George Love, and George, bless his soul, he's gone now.
Yeah.
But we did lots of shit together.
Oh, that's
him
funny.
and I.
Fuck.
All right,
I remember keeping the tonneau cover up on my midget just to try and keep a little more warmth in the car when you're driving it top down, right? Yeah.
Well, one of my Bug Eye Sprites had no heater at all.
Oh,
I drove it in the wintertime. Really impressed the girls with that.
Yeah, I'm sure. Anything British impresses the girls.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. Well, yeah, a shitty looking Bug Eye Sprite with a spray can paint job and a big black iron cross painted on the door, right?
I'm surprised you ever got fucking laid.
I didn't until...
Didn't do too well.
I didn't hit puberty until I was like 25.
Yeah.
So I was okay there.
Yeah, good.
So then I went to Ryerson and took architecture at Ryerson.
Oh.
Yeah.
At school?
Yeah. And
wow, I had no idea.
I know. For a year.
You're an asshole.
Fuck you. Hey, treat me nice. I'm the fucking guest here.
Yeah.
Hey, hang on. I gotta have a drink.
Have a drink. We got lots of time. No need to rush through this.
Oh, listen. No. I'm just.
No one's watching this anyway.
I know. So, I know. I'm just. This is just for me. I'll watch it
and laugh at you.
Yeah. I'll laugh at myself.
That's exactly what I do.
Yeah.
I'll be rewatching some of the videos and I'll be pissing my pants laughing. I'll go, Tanya. I'm talking to my wife, right? Like, Tanya, it's funny, right?
Why the fuck did you say that?
Yeah. And she's like, you can't say that.
Yeah.
Because when Al and I were talking about eating pussy and shit.
And
he's like, I said, you can't talk
I knew
like
to
that
get
on
around
the
to that. All right.
But I'm howling. I think it's hilarious. No one else is watching it. Fuck, whatever.
I watched it.
Good, thank you.
Okay. So after I didn't make it on Ryerson the first year.
How long were you there? Like a year?
1 year. Didn't make first year. Okay. I didn't make it in the second year because fluid dynamics fucked me up.
Oh.
That's engineering, right?
Okay.
I love the engineering part of it, with the moment of force and all that stuff, but the fluid dynamics with heating and air conditioning in the ductwork and stuff like that fucked me up, the physics.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Huh. So I didn't make it. So I got out and I said, I got to get a job. At the time, I was working summer as a short order cook at a restaurant in Mississauga called the 1867. And I told the boys, I said, hey, listen, guys, I got to go find a real job. And they said, well, listen, we got, and they knew I was in Rye, and those two guys were graduates from the hotel and restaurant administration in Rye. So they said, hey, there's openings in the company. You can go to King City or you can go to Trenton as assistant manager.
For one of these restaurants?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I said, yeah, I'll go to Trenton, just get away from the house, right?
Sure.
That started, man. That was fun. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. So that's where.
So what was so fun about it?
Oh, made a shitload of money
working in the restaurant.
Yeah, because all we did was the ordering and the staffing and stuff like that. Fortunately, to look after the girls, I had two really good head waitresses, and they sergeant majored all the girls, so didn't have any women problems. They kept them in line, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So you're saying the girls? You mean like because all the servers were women back then?
Yeah,
basically.
and they were summer students.
Okay.
So the wintertime we had our full-time staff, but summer students came on to help through the summer because we had bus loads come in because it was right on 401 highway, right?
Okay.
It was a service center right on 401 highway.
Oh, so like you actually have like tour buses.
It was a 24-hour operation,
Holy
right? And I'd get called in the middle of the night, hey, the pumps quit working or something happened, this or that happened, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, it was good. That's where I got...
We got show and tell here, folks.
Oh, yeah.
For you guys listening to this on the... on a podcast and with no video, that's okay.
Yeah, you're going to have to go to the video, man.
I'll explain
this
to you.
Is my first bike.
Let me take a look at this.
October
Holy shit, what a
1967.
Wow.
October 67. That's my first bike, the BSA.
BSA. What color was that? It's a black and white photo, but what color is it?
It's maroon.
Maroon, okay.
Yeah.
And that's
See that jacket?
That's you standing by that. You
See
still
that
have it and it still
I
fits.
still got that jacket and it still fits. Yeah. And here is that's me. That's what I was driving.
Oh, flash that to the camera
a
quick.
Spitfire.
A Spitfire. What color? Show the camera.
Green,
what color was that?
British racing green with a white stripe. And that's me at 21.
Sweet.
Yeah. So what else do we have here? All right. So I had the black VW. That's why I turned 21. Was in the restaurant business there. And at that time,
Keep going.
I was making enough money that I bought a 62 Vet.
Yeah?
That's when I had my Vet.
Jesus. Just wanted to check that camera, make sure everything's recording.
All right.
62 Vet.
340 horse, 327,
Holy
4-speed,
shit.
positive traction. That fucking thing would skate, man. It would skate.
Yeah.
It was scary fast, that thing.
So it's a 62 Vet. In what year did you buy that?
68.
Jesus. How much money were you making?
Well, it only cost me, I've got the sales slip at home, and it
Yeah,
only
I know,
cost me
but-
$2,900.
Yeah, but yeah, you could almost buy a house for that money in those days.
No, it was I got a deal on it. I bought it in Toronto. I took it to Perry Sound. I told the restaurant I was gonna go back to school. No. I told Yeah, I'm just trying to get this straight now. I told the restaurant I was going back to school.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So I needed the money to go back to school, so I had to sell a vet. But at one time, the vet was the fastest car in Parry Sound.
Oh, my God.
Because I went to Parry Sound
You have like a drag
as
strip
a
there?
temporary. No, a highway. We were street racing.
Yeah.
Until a Hemi Belvedere showed up. 1962, 63, Hemi Belvedere, the one with the Armco guardrail sides on it.
I'm not sure, but...
It was a hard top with the little pillar, the C-pillar that kind of tapered down.
Okay.
And they had 2 oval exhausts at the back. Oh. All I saw was these oval exhausts pissing out black
raw,
smoke.
Raw fuel.
Right?
Yeah.
But luckily we weren't racing for title or anything like that.
Yeah.
And back then all we had was shitty 4-ply tires, and that's all that was on it, right?
Yeah.
We taking our life in our hands, man.
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
Okay. So
let's not skip that yet. So in Parry Sound, you guys are street racing. Like, this is like an every Friday night sort of, Saturday night sort of thing, or every night, or what was the street racing?
It was like on the weekends. Yeah.
Weekends.
Yeah.
And was it like a big scene?
Not really. To be 5 or 6 guys that show up.
Right.
And
there wasn't was there a bunch of people watching? And
not really.
No.
Not really. No. Not that I remember. It was just, 5 or 6 guys because we used to do this in Toronto too, right? Up at Finch Avenue, Yonge and Steeles and places like that, way up north where it was just starting to be developed, and they had the big wide industrial streets going in.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And they had the street lights up, so you had lights. And that was a big deal. That's where people come out, and we had people watching and stuff like that.
Oh, so in Toronto it was like a way bigger scene.
Yeah.
It was like a thing.
It was down there, yeah, but not in Parry Sound. Okay. So I went to work for Metro Toronto Department of Public Health. Okay. I started off at DPH.
And doing
October 1968, ambulance.
Oh, right off the bat. So you went to school for that first? After you left your restaurant job?
No. Restaurant, I went to ambulance because I wanted something with more action.
Okay.
Right? I had trouble getting that straight, but that's what happened. A restaurant to ambulance because I was fucking bored in a restaurant
and
business.
Back in those days when you wanted to go into the ambulance, you just...
First aid ticket, you had to get your restricted radio ticket, right?
So how much?
But it was
training,
just an
like
application.
A few months?
Yeah, well, standard first aid.
Yeah,
that's all it was.
Like 2 couple months, right?
Yeah. So...
you're lucky to live if getting called an ambulance back in those days.
Well,
the fuck did you guys know?
No, well, CPR wasn't in then.
There was no CPR, right?
There was no CPR, man. You did Holger Nielsen.
Which is what?
Where you raise the shoulders up.
Oh, yeah,
and the one with the arms over the head, the revised Sylvester method. Yeah, that's what it was, man. That's what it was. No mouth to mouth.
Right.
They didn't, mouth to mouth wasn't invented. No CPR was invented. I mean, this was like almost horse and buggy days.
Yeah. Put your lighter on that or some fucking thing.
All right. So I had to sell a vet to go back to school.
Yeah.
All right.
Then you went to school for a bit.
I worked ambulance for a year.
Okay.
Right? And then I said, okay, boys, I'm going back to school. And the reason that I went back to school is, I flunked out of high school and shit like this, right? I flunked out of grade 12, never completed grade 13.
Oh, yeah, you guys had grade 13 out in Ontario.
Yeah. Well,
so that's like you flunked out of grade 11.
I never...
West Coast,
no, I passed the second time, right? Grade 12.
Yeah.
But I didn't even finish grade 13. But I wanted to prove to myself I'm no dummy.
Right.
So I went back to school. Went back to school as a mature student. Went to Lakehead University up in Thunder Bay. And that's when I bought my dream car. I still dream about this fucking car.
Are you serious?
I'm serious, man.
What is that, TR4?
No, Spitfire.
Spitfire.
Yeah. What?
Show the camera.
You notice?
What do I notice about this car?
There's something similar about these two cars.
Okay.
Something identical.
Okay, what is it?
The rims.
Oh.
I had the rims made up for this car at Wheel and Rim on Atomic Avenue in Toronto.
Are they the same actual rims?
The same actual fucking rims.
Oh my God.
I sold this car, bought the Vet, and when I bought that car, I'm looking in the paper, and I see an ad for wheel rims to fit I bought my own rims back.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Yeah, for the Spitfire. So that took me through 3 years of school. Right, back and forth from Thunder Bay to Toronto, driving through
the Spitfire
blizzards
in the winter.
Yeah,
Jesus.
I had 4 snows on it.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
hard top. I had a hard top for it. I had 4 snows on it.
Good.
And I had the passenger seats taken out, and I had the cushion from a lounge chair in there, so I could pull over the side of the road and sleep for a while.
Where?
What?
On the passenger side?
Yeah.
Like, where was the seat?
The seat was gone.
Oh, for fuck's
The seat was at home in the garage.
That's where you wanted to shag your girlfriends. That's what you were doing, you sick.
You know what? I never did in that car. I never did in that car. I did in a P1800 once.
Oh, Jesus.
In the front seat of a P1800.
What's a P1800?
A Volvo P1800. The coupe.
Okay.
The sport coupe.
Yeah,
I did that. And that's when I got cramps in the back of my legs, but I couldn't stop.
No. The fucking cramps. You gotta keep going.
Right.
Man.
That's right.
Unless you're an asshole, right? You just go.
Just power through it, man.
Through the pain.
Power through it, man.
Yeah, exactly.
That's when you say pain is your friend.
Jesus Christ. Nowadays, at this age, I get a cramp in my leg, my heart on goes away, I go to sleep. It's over.
That's nice.
Give me the Gatorade.
That's nice to know, Louis. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Wow, fuck, I'm an old man now. I'm not 20 anymore.
All right, so the beauty thing about that is I was able to go work ambulance in the summer because they had a program where if you were a medical student or if you had worked for them before, you could go work for them during the summer while you're going to school, which worked out fabulous for me. And even in the wintertime, I'd go back for Christmas holidays and I'd work the body wagon for a Hallowell ambulance.
What's a body wagon?
You haul dead people.
From where? From the scene?
Well, from anywhere.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. I remember, going in with, working with Don Hawker and going into a fire scene and picking up a crispy critter out of a fire scene. And you just picked them from old folks' homes and wherever.
Yeah, it's just product at that point, right? You get used to it, I guess, after a while. It's just a product you're picking up and dumping somewhere else and moving around. It's it's not like you don't...
Yeah. They're not going to complain.
Yeah.
And by that time, they don't care what's going on, right?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
you didn't get any customer complaints?
No. Watches and rings, though.
Oh, Jesus.
No.
You got a fucking desk drawer full of them, right? Gold teeth? You got gold teeth, you fucker.
Yeah, no, nothing like that. So then in 72, I graduated and went
are we only at 72?
Yeah.
That was the year I was born.
Well, then I went to work for Goodyear as a wholesale tire rep.
Okay.
That's where I learned I'm not a salesman. when you go in and these dealers, like you're a dealer, I'm a rep. I walk in, you treat me like shit. I want to pound you out.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
I said after, I think it was a year and a half of that. I said that's enough.
Did you actually get into any physical altercation?
No.
You were able to keep it under.
No. I just I just said that's not for me, man. You gotta come in and kiss these guys' ass.
Yeah.
So I went back to work for the ambulance full time.
Cool.
Went back to work for now it was called Department of Emergency Services.
Okay.
Metro Toronto, DES. Mm-hmm. Went back to work for them full time, and I started racing. I picked up my Anglia up first. Actually, my first ice racer was a DKW.
What the hell's that? You got to give me the full name.
Deutsche Kleinwagen.
And is that
it's a DKW?
That's actually the brand name?
That's it, man. That's a precursor to Audi.
Jesus Christ.
Right?
Cool.
Front wheel drive, 2-stroke. But here,
front wheel drive 2-stroke car?
Yeah.
Okay, and how long did you run that for?
DK.
Before you show off your pride and joy,
I didn't.
You didn't run it?
I didn't. I got it. I didn't know the first goddamn thing about it. I bought it from a guy in the car club.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to get out of ice racing, and I said, yeah, okay, I'll take it, right?
Yeah.
I didn't pay a lot for it.
Yeah.
But I never could get it running properly.
Okay, so you just sold it off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got this baby. I built this one myself.
I can tell.
Yeah.
That's an Anglia 105E.
Yeah, that's right. Put the roll cage in it. Had somebody else weld up the roll cage because I didn't. Got motor work done on it.
Looks like some kind of a green.
Yeah.
In there.
British
spray
racing.
bomb green.
No, not even spray bomb, man. It was a roller and a paintbrush.
Oh my god. Let me see this.
Yeah. And you see the 2x10 bumpers?
I see the 2x10 wood bumper at the front. That was one of those. That looks like a super because it has the big chrome grill on it.
That could be
extra chrome on it, but no chrome along the sides. No. And it looks like you chopped out the front wheel arch on that. Opened it right up. This wheel.
I had to a little bit.
The front, I
had to a little bit.
Some more rubber under there.
Yeah.
The back's stock.
Yeah.
The back's got a 2x8.
No, same thing. 2x10.
2x10 bumper as well. Yeah, those are cool little cars. I have one of these. In a million pieces. You've seen it.
Oh, yeah, man. Listen, and the one we made for David, I love that.
Yeah, it's cool. And you're holding the checker flag here. How we can just put it here, Bill. Yeah, it'll be safe.
Well, that's my license.
Oh, that's your racing license.
That's my racing license. CASE, you had to have a racing license.
Yeah.
Right, so that's my license.
Bill Gedey, Toronto. Nice, 1976. Sweet.
Yeah, so the only engine work I did to that, a buddy of mine, Wally Chudzik, did the head on it.
Like ported it in valves?
Ported, polished, double valve springs.
Yeah, and bigger valves, or did you not go that far?
I think he might have, yeah. I think he might have, but it had a stock cam in it.
Okay.
All right, so the thing would rev to the moon.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And it did all right. It won the 1975 championship.
Oh, you won the championship.
Fucking right, man.
That's so you won multiple races.
That was my third year racing.
Oh, Jesus.
I started racing in 72.
Class 1, 1975.
Yeah.
Nice. I didn't know you won. I didn't realize you won the series.
Yeah.
Or whatever they would call it. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, because I used to have to tow up to, Huntsville and places like that, right? Barrie, Huntsville, because they have the Barrie Winter Fair. They'd have the Frozen Lake, and part of the thing would be ice racing.
Sweet.
Right? Part of the attraction.
Nice.
Yeah.
That must have been fun. Lots of bumping and
bumping
and grinding. It was like a demo derby out there.
Not really. The guys are pretty good about it.
Yeah, because you all have to pay for these yourselves.
Fucking right.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to tow it home. But I remember one race, I'm going around this Volvo 122's ahead of me. And we're going around, and right by the start-finish line, I'm faster than this guy by, 20 miles an hour.
Like down the straight?
No, on a curve.
On a curve.
Right? So
I'm ice race, okay.
It's a road course. It's a plowed out road course on a lake.
A road course meaning left and right turns. Like okay, okay, gotcha.
And hairpins and straightaways.
So it's not just a big oval.
No, it's not oval.
I got you.
Right?
I got you.
So anyway, I'm coming up on this guy, and he's way slower than me through this turn, right? So I give him a little tap and say,
"Yeah, move over.
Get out of my way, man."
Yeah, yeah.
Next lap, come around, he's still there. Because he's a little faster than me in the rest of the track, but I catch up on him on this one corner.
Oh, weird.
And I figure if I can get ahead of him on this corner, I'm gone,
That's it,
right?
Yeah.
So the next time around, wham, I give him a little harder tap, right?
Yeah.
Let him know I'm there. And I say, buddy, if you're not out of my way the next time, sure enough, we come around.
He's still in front of you.
He's still in front of me this time. Wham! I drove him and dropped his fucking gas tank out on the ground. So
I guess you got around him.
I go back to the pits afterwards, and I figure, holy shit, I'm ready to dance with this guy because I figure he's going to be in my face.
Yeah.
Nothing happened.
Yeah,
right.
It's
Nothing
racing.
happened. It's just racing. Yeah. He didn't get out of my way, but that's just one of the
Dropped the gas tank right out of it.
Fucking right. And I had the exhaust pipe, flex tube headers and the exhaust pipe I had coming out underneath the passenger's door.
Oh, yeah.
Just straight
Yeah,
pipes.
straight pipe. Yeah, loud.
Trouble is, it came out about this far past the edge of the door,
Yeah.
and we're rubbing door handles going down the straightaway, and some guy ripped it right off.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just, and Annie was racing with me
What do you mean?
towards the end of the year. You allowed 2 people in the car,
Oh.
so she would be in the passenger seats sometimes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Poor lady.
Oh yeah. This is like early on when we met, before we were married. And I bought her a big puffy coat with a fur collar and stuff like that, so she'd be comfortable, eh?
Yeah, while she's in the car.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
And while she was standing in the
Standing
pits
there
watching me
watching, yeah.
race, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So let's see, that's when I hooked
That's
up.
cool, man.
Yeah.
That your wife was able to, your
Oh,
now
yeah.
wife
Yeah.
was able to come.
She was racing with me.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And she'd have to be helmeted up and everything else,
Yep.
just like everyone.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah. I had all the gear for her. But we didn't have racing suits. We didn't have fire suits or anything like
Right.
that on. We just drove with our regular clothes, eh?
Yeah, just helmets.
Yeah.
Gloves.
Yeah.
Gloves, I guess. Helmets,
Helmets,
and gloves.
gloves, roll bars, seat belts, you
Yeah.
know, that kind of
Yeah.
good stuff.
Yeah.
So I hooked up with her. So I was working for DES. I went to work for the emergency planning unit within DES, and that was like PEP, okay? PEP,
What's that?
Provincial Emergency Program.
Okay.
So it was the EPU emergency planning unit we did heavy rescue planning, disaster planning for Toronto, Metro Toronto. That allowed me, because it was Monday to Friday job, even emergency service, that allowed me weekends off for racing.
Right.
So
Cool.
that worked out pretty good.
Yeah. Because usually emergency services is shift work. You work weekends
Yeah,
and
nights,
and
yeah,
all
yeah,
over the
yeah.
place, right? But
Yeah.
this is just a day job.
It was good at the time.
Yeah.
Then after that, I went, the 72, 73 DES became DAS, Department of Ambulance Services, and that's when I went into the office full-time and worked special projects. So I did legal, I did property, I got old gas stations,
Yeah.
and Esso, all the companies were selling off the gas stations about that time
Oh.
in Toronto,
Okay.
right? So we got, the beauty thing was to get an old gas station and convert it into an ambulance station, because it was all
Oh, yeah, had the
already done,
doors
right?
and everything, yeah,
had
yeah.
the doors, had the quarters,
So
had
okay,
the floors.
so just to backtrack, you had worked as a paramedic,
Yeah.
or by this point,
Yeah.
but you went into the office and you're doing like more admin type stuff
Yep.
right now. So
Yep.
buying properties
Yep.
and
I'm looking after, like, it sounds, Shelley will like this. You'll like this, Shell. I'm looking after the legal. So
Shelley
that,
doesn't watch this.
So that the lawyers, if they wanted to contact our crews, I set up a policy with Metro Legal that they can't talk to our crews directly. They got to come through us,
okay,
right? So that if they're on a fishing expedition, we tell the guys, no, you can't say that.
Right.
This is what you got to say.
yeah,
And the property, I did the newsletter at the time, which came out every month, called The Grapevine. Then, it started the ERU,
What's that?
the Emergency Response Unit. That was my program. That was 5 vehicles. There were 1975 or 76 Dodge Aspen wagons, police specials.
Geez, like Ghostbuster cars. Is that what they look like? The hearse sort of style looking thing?
No, it was a Aspen wagon.
I don't know.
You know the Valari and Aspen? Remember them?
Are you fucking kidding me? No, I don't remember them.
Okay. It was a
I'm sure we can look it up.
was
though.
a Dodge Aspen wagon.
Aspen wagon.
And
maybe if I'm really energetic, I'll find a picture and
No,
put it up
I
on
should
the
have brought a
pod.
picture with me.
Ah,
That's a one picture I didn't bring with me.
Okay,
All right.
that's okay. Yeah.
And we had them painted up like NASCAR, right? Had emergency response unit across the hood, red, orange stripe down the side, emergency response unit,
Oh my gosh.
and I was allowed to design them, and we built them ourselves.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so we built the whole back of them ourselves, and the one story I have about that is we're in the back drilling holes in the floor to put the shelves in. So we had shelving that we could slide out and have our emergency stuff in there. Because this is a one-man car that'd go around, and it would fill the holes if like they had 5 ambulances
attending something
else. You had one car in there to fill the hole, right? At least to be a first responder, because fire department wasn't doing it at that time, right? It was a different thing. And and I'm drilling through the bottom of this thing, and I hear, psh. I drill through the sidewall of the spare tire.
Nice.
Oh yeah, that's just one of the.
Yeah, whatever.
You're just yum and dung, eh?
Yeah.
All right. And so, right after that, Annie and I got married in 1974.
But you were still racing after you got married.
Yeah.
Well done, lad.
Oh, yeah. That's when she was in the car with me.
Oh, my gosh.
I had a Fiat 124 Spider, and we went on our honeymoon to Quebec.
And you were living where at this time?
In the west end of Toronto.
Okay.
Well, no, it's actually central. It was Yonge and Davisville.
Okay.
Right? So we took this Fiat 124
you went to Quebec.
into Quebec. We went to Rivière de Loup. We went to Three Rivers. We went to where they don't. We went where they don't speak English.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, could you speak French still at this time, or no? You'd lost it.
No. High school French.
Yeah.
Because I left there when I was 5. I don't remember any of it. Right?
Yeah. Right.
All right. So, and at that time, I had 3 cars. I had the Fiat. I had a Cortina GT, a shitbox Cortina GT that popped out of gear all the time.
Oh, they do that. Those trannies wear out. Yeah.
And I had the race car.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. And then I bought a 1971 Dodge Challenger for a tow car to tow the race car. So I think I sold the Spider and bought the Dodge Challenger.
Dodge Challenger.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
The old Dodge. Yeah. The hot car. But it was a 318 automatic. It wasn't anything special.
Yeah.
And the one
but it
thing
had enough power and torque to pull the trailer in the race car.
And the one thing I remember about that car, the power steering is totally dead. Like it is. You could twirl it. You could think about it and twirl it, and it was that dead. Right, no road feel at all.
Nothing, yeah.
No,
yeah.
Which was not good because you tow in freezing rain, you tow in snow, slush, and you needed a bit of road feel on that thing, right? So I got rid of that probably about the same time I got rid of the race car.
Right.
76. 75 year you and 1977. Paul is born.
Ah.
Yeah.
Paul's that much younger than me?
77.
Huh. Okay. I thought we were almost the same age. But I guess not. I guess he's younger.
So married 74, married 74, and I had him at 77. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, cool.
Really?
Cool.
Huh. So you're too old to be my kid.
Well, yeah. Not really, but I guess.
All right. So then, 1980, I moved to BC.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Came out here. They swiped me. They came back east, and they swiped me. They plundered DAS.
Oh, they headhunted you.
They plundered and got me, right? And
you were the spoils of their plundering.
Me, because I was going somewhere in Metro. Stupid me. I took this job because I thought I could make a difference.
Oh.
But here, the culture is bring them in, chew them up, spit them out. They've had so many people from outside come into the organization, and they're gone within 1 or 2 years.
You're talking about BCM?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The culture there is just fucked.
Is it still the same, do you think? Or
I have no idea because I've been out of it for 15 years,
50
man.
Already, eh?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Time flies. I remember when you retired.
04 I retired. 06 I worked part-time until 06.
Yeah, and I remember you saying, if I have 2 bad days in a row, I'm out of here.
That's right.
And you did. You came into the cigar store that day. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah,
I'm done.
Me and Eddie used to come to the store after work. And decompress.
Have a coffee and a smoke with me.
Yeah.
And I remember you saying that. Yep, that's it.
That's what I had. 2 bad days, man.
Yeah.
Yep. So, but when I came here, I started in head office, and I was able to do a couple of things. First of all, I was able to change the legal policy here because they had no legal policy. So a lawyer could phone up and go fishing with the crew and say, aha, no.
You did this or this.
Yeah, and you guys are now responsible for whatever this guy's injuries are, right? So I was able to change that. So the lawyers couldn't talk to our guys without me on the line as a third party.
Right.
And now I hope, I don't know how it's changed, or I haven't had any experience with it for a while. I don't know if it's changed or whether it's still the same. I also set up station standards. So whenever they build a new station now, I just imported the standards from Toronto.
So what you had already created there.
Yeah. So I just brought it with me, and now whenever they build a new station, that's the standards they use. The other thing was I was able to change the ambulance uniform issue. They used to issue one set of uniform, a whole set of uniform every year to each guy. And I said, that's crazy, man.
One uniform?
Yeah, one whole uniform every year to these guys. I said, okay, that's going to stop, and it had to go to negotiation with the union. So I just put it forward to management, and I said, listen, guys, we got to go to quartermaster stores.
Right.
Which is, you've got your uniform.
Yeah.
When you start as a full-timer or part-timer, yes, you get a full issue. But from then on, if you need a pair of boots, turn your old boots in.
Right.
Right? Turn your old boots in, you get a pair of new boots.
Yeah.
So, and that probably saves them a shitload of money.
Yeah, because you don't need new boots every year necessarily.
Guys were selling their boots.
Oh.
Right? Because they had 6 pairs of boots in the closet. Guys were selling their boots.
I can believe it.
And making money.
Yeah.
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 That was a little crazy.
I think they still do that at the D&D. You get like a boot allowance.
Yeah, but you see, boot allowance is different because if your issue boots don't fit you, or you've got some foot problems or whatever, they'll allow you to buy your own boots, and you get a boot allowance towards that.
Right.
So it's like $80 or something like that, right? So that's what that boot allowance is all about.
Okay.
So, and then I went to Kamloops.
Okay, backtrack. You came to BC. Where did you come? Where'd you
Victoria.
go? Oh, when you moved to BC, you went
Bought a brand new house on Leaside Drive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, no, that was your first time to BC? You came first time to BC?
Never been to BC before.
And you moved to Victoria?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I got lucky there.
Yeah, that was good. And then you worked here for how long?
It was about 4 years,
and
4.5 years.
And that was basically in management?
Yeah,
okay.
4.5 years. And then I moved. I was a shift supervisor in Victoria.
Yeah.
And then they transferred me up to Kamloops.
As a shift supervisor
as a regional supervisor up there.
Oh, okay.
And then I worked up there for about 2 years and a half as a regional super. And I said, that's enough. I'm out of here.
You're killing
I'm
you.
always the guy from Ontario, you know?
What?
Yeah.
Really?
That's the culture out here, man. If you're not from BC, you're an outsider. You don't know shit. And there was me and 2 other guys from management at the same time. We got out of management and got back into the union. We've got the Golden Anvil. We're in the Golden Anvil Club. So that means our career path was the flight path of an anvil.
No. Started at the top, worked your way to the bottom.
That was Lynn Klein, me, and Tom Feetham. The 3 of us.
And he just said, fuck management.
Yeah, we got out of it.
Yeah.
And you know, that's probably one of the better moves I made, because then I got my self-confidence back, because you know, you're always being shit on. You got no power in management, right? I'm back where the rubber meets the road, and that's back where the job, your life means something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it was a good move.
Good.
So I got back to dispatch. Oh, that's when I joined the fire department in Kamloops.
What?
Yeah. I was also a volunteer fireman down at the Dallas Hall. I was living in Dallas at the time.
What's Dallas?
Dallas is a suburb on the east end of Kamloops.
So Dallas is a suburb of Kamloops.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's on Dallas, the Dallas Fire Hall number 6, and I was volunteer fireman there for about another year and a half till I transferred back to Victoria.
Okay. So how long were you in Kamloops?
5 years.
And that was So I guess you were married and you had Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're there for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I had my Datsun 510 when I moved out to BC.
You brought it with you?
I brought it with me. They
Jesus.
They shipped it out.
Let me see this hunk of shit. White Datsun 5. It's actually not bad. It's got a little bit of. It's not bad. Looks pretty good there.
Those are stone dings.
Yeah, it's missing
from back east.
It's just missing a little bit of chrome, but not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that little thing there.
That was a 2-door?
4-door.
4-door. Okay.
It was a 4-door, but it looked like a Dowager, but had the heart of a whore.
Those
that
Datsons
thing.
all do.
Listen, that thing. You press an offender, it's like this, right?
Yeah.
There was no give to that suspension at all. I bought it like that. It was built for rallying.
Oh, sick.
And I bought it off a guy.
So
it had everything in it but a roll cage.
Right.
Right. It had
The suspension was stiff and good, and it handled well.
Oh man, it was great. It had fiberglass. These are fiberglass fenders, right? It had headers. It had a downdraft Weber on it, and it's funny. I'll go back to my ice racer. It had a Motorcraft 5210 carb on it, which is a copy of the Weber downdraft.
Yeah, that was
carburetor.
like a Holly 5200. I think we used to call them.
It was, I guess, Motorcraft 5210 is what it was.
So it's like a DGV Weber downdraft, like
exactly.
a 2-barrel downdraft.
Yeah, exactly.
Progressive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what that thing had, right?
Yeah, that really pepped those motors out.
They were
flowed
good.
a lot better.
You know, they had the little flat square aftermarket air cleaner on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that thing was a riot, man.
Yeah.
It had a ball. Bought it for $1,000 in Toronto. Sold it in Kamloops for $1,000 like 7 or 8 years later for $1,000.
Oh, beauty.
Yeah.
Yeah, now it's worth $20,000, but whatever.
Unfortunately, I met an unfortunate end there. I sold it
no.
to some kid. I drove through his neighborhood, right? And here's a great big frickin' hole in the windshield.
Oh, Jesus.
And the thing had been sitting on the side of the road for 6 months, right?
Oh, yeah, so just fucked.
Yeah.
Garbage.
It was fucked.
Yeah.
So then after Kamloops, I moved back to Victoria, moved into dispatch in Victoria.
Where was dispatch back in those days?
Back down by the Jubilee Hospital, down by the helipad at the hospital.
Yeah.
Okay,
That Jubilee, that's the old Jube downtown.
Yep.
Yeah. Just, because not everyone knows that.
Yeah. So
What's the Jubilee down there now? Is it like a old age home, or what do they do down there now?
No, you think about the old Victoria General.
Yeah, I'm thinking Vic General.
Vic General, yeah. It's that is right near St. Anne's.
The Jubilee?
No.
Vic General.
The old Vic General.
Yeah.
I was there.
I was born at that old Vic General.
Well, I was there the last night Vic General was open. As a matter of fact, they just closed it, and my job was to sit in front of the emergency and turn people away and tell them where
to go.
the closest hospital was. And there was a guy showed up in the back seat of a Datsun 510 with some kind of a leg injury, showed up at the emerge to the General, and I said, no, it's closed. You have to go up to the Jubilee on 4th Street. Right?
Okay, right.
Or you got to go back out to the new General out on the highway.
Right.
So the last night...
What year was that, do you think?
Oh, shit. Well, that was before I that was before I went to Kamloops, so that had to be like early 80s?
Yeah.
82, 83,
yeah,
somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Okay, so 96 to 98, I was involved with Casa de Malahado.
Now this is where our lives start to intertwine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. 96 to 98, you were in the cigar business.
Yeah.
And I was in the cigar business simultaneously to you, and I opened my store late 96, and you guys beat me to the punch by just a little bit.
But we were up in the Malahat.
Yeah,
so
you were out of town.
It wasn't really...
no, we weren't competing against each other. No, not really, no.
But we had... it was interesting, because I've still got photos of... We had cigar nights up there.
Yeah.
And we had... I remember one night we had about 4 or 5 old Harley 45s inside the restaurant, because it was in the Malahat Chalet.
Okay, yeah.
And we had 4 or 5 old Harley 45s lined up in there. That was our first cigar night. Our second cigar night, which was a little bit later, we had a guy, the professional, come down from Cowichan Golf Club.
Mm-hmm. Like the golf pro.
Yeah. And he brought a bag of golf balls, and we drove balls off the lower parking lot into the water. We tried to
into
hit the
Finlayson
water.
Arm. Yeah, you couldn't make it. But
No. But that was kind of cool because I'm sure we destroyed whatever clubs he brought, because I can remember.
You guys hitting off the gravel?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
I can remember sparks flying.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. What a hoot.
Oh, yeah.
So you were in that business you were in the cigar thing for like a couple years. Oh, just as like a side gig though, right? You were still
I was still working full time.
Yeah.
Then 96, 98, I got out.
You got out of the cigar business?
Got out of it.
Yeah.
I bought my 03 Dakota. Brand new, the first factory order car I ever got.
Beautiful truck.
I still got it.
Yeah, it still looks good.
Right. Retired in 2004. Part-time until the fall of 2006, like we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Then after I got out, I volunteered for 5 years at hospice.
Yes, you did.
And
that was good of you. I remember you doing that, and I thought that, I didn't know much about hospice until my granddad was in hospice, and what a great organization.
It is.
They really do good work. They make everyone comfortable. You can visit, you're basically your dying relatives or friends or whomever's there, and
And I love their philosophy, because their philosophy is no pain. Right.
Yeah.
If you're in pain, they just crank up the volume.
Yeah. No, that's good.
But then, all that time, I had my business, Edgewater Studio, from 2001 till last year.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So I did the motorcycle art. I did the old Cuban cars art.
Yeah, a bunch of photography.
Yeah. And I wrote. I was a freelance writer for Canadian Biker for 10 years, from 08 to about 18.
You've been published a few times, right?
Oh, 10 years.
Yeah.
In Canadian Biker.
Canadian Biker magazine. Does that magazine still exist now?
It is, but
are they only online, or are they still in?
No,
they
print? I still get the odd one in the mail, but
is
they're
it
not
like a quarterly now, or a?
You know what? I don't even know that.
Yeah.
But the problem is they don't do travel stories anymore. So
what?
Yeah, they don't do travel stories. They're like a big brochure for bike companies. And I can totally understand that, because I went and had a long talk with the guy.
Who's that?
Who's the publisher.
Oh, yeah.
And he said, the advertisers are calling the shots now.
Right.
Yeah. They don't want to advertise in your magazine.
You're fucked.
Yeah.
Well, you're fucked if they don't want to advertise in it.
Right.
And then they're going to tell you what they want to see.
Yeah, you're right. So basically, he is under their whip right now. So I can understand why he doesn't do it. But, I still get Rider Magazine. I still get Mojo Magazine. I read them. They're heavy into travel stories, because that's what guys read bike magazines for.
Right.
Is travel stories.
Right.
And I had some great adventures with the guys in travel stories, like the story about traveling with Shelley. Any trip traveling with Shelley is worth a story.
I'm sure.
Going to see the Ghost of Wallachine.
What's that?
Between Cache Creek and Kamloops, there's a place called Wallachine.
Mm-hmm.
And there is the legend of the Ghost of Wallachine.
Okay.
And
who's this ghost?
So I told Shelley, I was with Shelley and Bruce.
Okay.
We're in Cache Creek.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, guys, we're going to be going through Wallachine. Keep your eyes open, because there's the Ghost of Wallachine. I've seen it. I know it's there.
Fuck off.
Yeah?
Yeah?
Yeah. And so we go through, and we're riding through, and we stop. The next stop past Wallachine at Savinaw. All right? We stop in Savinaw.
What highway are we on?
On the road from Cache Creek to Kamloops. So I don't know. 97?
Okay.
I don't know.
It might be, yeah.
Highway 1, maybe?
Cache Creek to Kamloops?
Might be.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah.
Anyway, we stop in Savinaw, and I said, okay, guys, did you see it? It's there. And Bruce says, no, I didn't see it. And Shelley flips up his visor and said, I didn't see any goats.
Yeah.
and he hadn't heard that joke. And I collapsed, man, because he hadn't heard the joke. You want to hear the joke?
Well, we know the joke.
Okay,
I mean, it's a good one.
Okay, but that's what made it so funny.
I thought you said go.
Traveling with Shelley, man, is an adventure.
He's the smartest airhead ever, right?
The guy
he's so funny.
is. I love Shelley, man.
Yeah,
he's amazing.
Yeah, he's funny.
He's an amazing guy.
So, you know this province, the province of British Columbia, better than anyone I've ever met. You've been everywhere, driven ridden every road.
Just
basically.
about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, maybe let's do a little travel talk, because I know that that cigar's staying lit well. Holy.
It's a 3 hour, baby. How far are we into it?
Oh, fuck, whatever. What are we in? I don't know, not even an hour.
Really?
I know.
All right, good for another 2 hours. The Texas Lancero.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, you bet, bud. It's good to have you here. Give me a few of you. Okay, so I want to hear a couple of gory ambulance stories. I want you to get into some detail here. I want our three listeners.
I'm going up to Don Valley Parkway.
Where's this? Toronto.
Don Valley Parkway in Toronto.
Okay.
And we're just about under the Bloor Street Viaduct, and we pull over. We get to this call because it's an unknown call. So we whistle up there, and we get there, and there's this MGB.
Yeah.
And there's one guy dead outside the car, and there's another guy dead inside the car.
Okay.
Right? And there's a rifle at the scene.
Oh, Jesus.
So what's happened is the guy inside the car murdered the driver, and I don't know what it was all about. It might have been, a jealousy thing.
Yeah.
It might have been a gay, I don't know. But he shot the guy. The driver made it out of the car, and then the guy turned it on himself in the car.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. So
gray matter everywhere?
Well, yeah, there's a shit everywhere, yeah.
Just shit everywhere, right?
Right. Blood and crap.
Yeah. So when you guys arrive at a scene like that, and there's two people that are obviously dead.
Well, the first thing is,
this is a crime scene.
You check,
right?
yeah, that's a problem. You check for vital signs, and then basically, because at that time in the mid-'70s, there was no CPR or anything like that.
Yeah, so
there's nothing really you can do for them, so we called the cops and waited.
Right. Right. And then there's people that come and take them away.
And there's times when I haven't been allowed into a house. The cops will stop you at the door in the house.
Oh.
And they said, that guy's dead. And I say, what, are you a coroner? Are you a doctor? We got to look at this guy, We're not doctors, we're not coroners, but we got to get in and look at this guy anyway. But they're afraid of us contaminating the scene, right?
Sure.
Yeah. You want a gory one? I had a woman, I think it was on Queen Street. She was either attacked or fell down the stairs, middle-aged female. Ended up at the bottom of the stairs. She had a head injury, like a scalp injury, and it bled like anything. We walked in the landing, and our boots were going. There had to be this much gelled blood on the floor, on the little lobbyway, right?
She's dead, obviously.
No, she wasn't.
Jesus.
Right? Like, she'd lost a lot of blood, but no, she was still alive. Another one, we had a call on Bathurst Street, and this was just up from Toronto Western Hospital. And there's a guy, we got a call for an attempt suicide. And there's a guy laying in bed, and what he'd done was he'd slit himself like this, like Harry Carey, right?
Yeah.
And he'd cut off his intestines as they came out.
Ugh.
And then he laid face down on the bed, and the blood had soaked through the mattress, and it was pooling
under the bed.
Under the bed.
Jesus Christ.
So we rolled the guy over. We put an abdo pad on him.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, I picked up whatever the intestines were, and I put them in a paper bag. And there was a cop there with us, and we had this guy packaged and oxygen on him and taking him down the stairs to the unit. And when we got to the unit, I handed the bag to this cop, and I says, "Here, you take this down to the hospital, right?
Yeah.
I don't have room for it. I don't have time to deal with it." So we got to the hospital, and we're doing up our notes, and there's the little CNIB sandwich stand outside the emerge entrance, right? And I'm all washed up. I'm having an egg salad sandwich, and this cop comes in, right? This cop comes in, and he hands me the bag, and he goes, "Here you are."
Oh. Yeah.
That's the only job. That's the only job where I had to wash, because we didn't have gloves back then, right?
Oh, you didn't?
No. That's the only job where I had to wash my hands before I had a squirt and after I had a squirt.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of
That's
juicy
a nice
ones
one
for you.
Did you you had to pull someone out from under a train once?
Oh, subway jumpers?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I
So
was
what
lucky.
happens to a subway jumper?
I was lucky I only had one.
Oh, okay.
But what happens is they jump in front of the subway train, the train rolls over them, and it may or may not, depending on how they land on the tracks. If they land with their arm over the track, it'll sever the arm, or it'll sever a leg, or it'll bisect them, or it'll decapitate them, or it'll transect them somehow.
Yeah.
The worst thing you can have is they survive the fall, because they're under there, the power's live, and they're yelling.
Oh, Jesus.
They're screaming blue murder, right?
Yeah.
And
you can't get them.
No, because there's a procedure, right? You have to find out where they are, so you have to get under the platform. There's room under the platform from about here to the wall. So you can get under that train. It's about this tall. You can get under there and go along with your flashlight, and you got to find out where they are. Then you got to let them know where they are. And what they do is split the train.
The track.
They'll split the cars.
Oh, the cars.
Yeah. So they'll separate the cars, then they'll shut the power off.
Oh, fuck.
Right? So then you got to go under and get whatever's left.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
My wife took, I forget what it was exactly, some kind of a course or something for people suffering from PTSD. And there was a bunch of, I don't know what train company, engineers from a normal train there. And she's like, what the hell are these engineers? Like, what did they be suffering? But it's from all the fucking people jumping in front of the trains.
Yeah.
And then those people don't realize is the steel wheels on a train are fucking hot. They're red hot, basically.
Yeah.
So it cuts these people in two, but it cauterizes them at the same time.
Yeah.
And they're screaming and they're alive, and the guy's like jams on the binders and hauls the train down. Then he's got to call someone, and he's dealing with these people cut in two, dying to death. Dying a slow death, and it's just
interesting.
Nasty.
You mentioned PTSD. I don't have PTSD. After all my years of doing the shit I do, I came close, right? I came real close, because when I was dispatching, I had cold sweats. I'd wake up cold sweats thinking about picking up, punching a line, and I got my headsets on, punching a line, and they're screaming at the other end, right? Just screaming.
Yeah.
And I go, fuck.
This was like a recurring dream for you, or just the
dreaded. I dreaded that.
You dreaded that,
right? Because and then it happened.
Oh.
And then I handled it.
Right.
After that,
it was okay.
No problem. Yeah.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah. It actually happened.
Wow.
Because they give you techniques. They give you calming techniques. Right? If somebody's and obviously I used it. Somebody's screaming at the other end, so you're gonna have to calm down. I want to help you, but you're gonna have to calm down.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Take a deep breath. Tanya knows all about this.
Oh yeah,
right?
Sure. Yeah.
I got a nice letter of compliment from Saanich Police at work, because they liked the way I handled two hysterical women phoning in.
Nice.
And that was one of my specialties, was dealing with mothers with babies who were seizuring, like a febrile seizure.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. That was like, it was like a miracle. I have one of my calls that went to Check TV.
Really?
About a baby in a bathtub who had, and we brought back a baby that had drowned in a bathtub.
Wow.
And it actually went to Check TV.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But young moms with febrile convulsions, take the clothes out. Listen, this happens to babies. You calm the mom down. The number one thing is to calm the mom down.
Yeah, so she can
deal with it, right?
Yeah.
Say, I'm going to help you. We're going to get through this. Your baby's going to be fine. And strip the baby down, put cold water on the chest, under the armpits, in the crotch, between the legs, and 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100, the baby will come out of it.
Right.
And mom will go, oh my God.
Yeah.
And then she'll know what to do next time.
Right. I never had that experience with my kids. Like,
well, it's scary, man.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
First time.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah, any of those things, like choking or any of those.
Yeah, but the thing is, it happened like it would happen to me at work. You know.
Yeah, 4
every
times
day.
a day.
Yeah. I know the guys, the ALS guys on car. You know, they'll say, "Oh God, not another chest pain. If I have to do one more chest pain, right?" Yeah. So it's just routine for them.
Yeah. No, they're good. They're good. Like dealing with that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, look at all your pictures. We got your motorcycle. We got that.
Yeah, that's my first right here.
Oh God, we're not gonna eat on camera, are we? so
they are delicious.
Look, I haven't eaten anything.
They are low
This is
fat,
a fucking turd, is what this
sugar
is.
free, right? High fiber.
Yeah.
Low fat, sugar free.
Are these things like keto then? Like no, they're low fat and low carb.
Low carb.
Low carb, low fat.
No fat.
No fat.
They got peanut butter in them. God damn, they're good.
Nothing wrong with that. So, Billy sends me a picture of these. Like, fuck, that's delicious. I could eat those all. I could eat that
fucking right. I told you, man.
So Billy sends me a picture of these things after he finished baking them. And I was like, Jesus Christ, it looked like a bunch of fucking dog turds, right?
You didn't ask me where I got the recipe.
Where'd you get the recipe?
SPCA.
I'm like, they look like a bunch of dog turds. And he's like, exactly. That way my wife won't eat them. And I'm like, well, when we do the podcast, we can do 2 guys, 1 dog turd.
Yeah, right.
And that got us some.
I don't play for that team.
I mean, either. Yeah. That got a couple laughs.
Yeah, that's
it's
good.
all about the laughs.
Hey, you want to talk about traveling?
Yeah, are we done with the ambulance?
Yeah, pretty well. I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
So I could send
for
you.
Those. Okay. Wait. I gotta set this up because for the people that don't know, you're an avid motorcyclist. You've ridden basically as long as I've known you.
50 years. I've been riding for 50 years. Yeah.
And when we as the friend group talk about you, we talk about you as this, like, you're a real motorcycle rider. Like, you don't just ride on sunny days. Like, I mean, you fucking ride like all the time.
Well, I don't ride in the rain unless I have to.
I know, but it doesn't stop you.
No.
And you ride long distance, and you've ridden. Like,
been across the country like 3-4 times.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you've ridden a lot. So, and I know you know this province really, really well. So yeah, let's talk riding.
Listen, I can send you on a ghost town tour of BC. I can send you on a hot tub tour of BC.
Hot tub?
Yeah.
What do you mean hot tub?
Hot springs.
Oh, hot springs.
Yeah, hot springs and hot tubs. Oh yeah.
What the hell's hot tubs? What do you mean?
Hot springs.
Like a hot spring, and then and like places where you can go.
I mean, you can get a hot tub at any motel, but I'm talking hot springs, right? I can send you a hot springs tour. I can send you on a Route 66 tour.
Sweet. How much of Route 66 have you done?
None.
Oh, none.
But the Fraser Canyon Highway is Canada's Route 66.
Oh, it is.
I wrote a story on that.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so Canada's
abandoned
Route 66.
gas stations, abandoned motels, abandoned restaurants. It's all there.
Sweet.
Just like Route 66.
Neato.
Yeah.
Neato. Well, I wonder if those places along the Fraser Canyon, if they've been like revitalized.
2 years ago, I was up there. The only thing
I've only driven the Fraser Canyon to Spence's Bridge, and then
well, you got to go to Cache Creek.
Oh, you got yeah. I've been to Cache Creek, but I didn't take the canyon there.
Okay.
We went up through Duffy Lake all the way around.
I know.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
There's
a place up there called Marble Canyon.
Yeah.
Some cool little camping, little lakes, beautiful rock formations.
The rock formations, the color of the lake.
Oh, just that teal green lakes.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Yeah.
What was I going to say about the only place that's really rejuvenated now is Cache Creek. I was up there 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So Cache Creek, there used to be, there was an abandoned strip mall in Cache Creek at one time. Yeah. The Esso station at the corner with the restaurant, that was abandoned for a long time, and somebody's opened that back up just recently. Hungry Herbie's has never closed in Cache Creek. That's a local legendary, right?
We were there about 3 years ago. We went to the Hat Creek Ranch.
Yep.
Have you been there?
Yes, once. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of.
Well, you got to drive. Hungry Herbie's is on the right on the way to Hat Creek Ranch, because Hat Creek Ranch is just north of town on the right side, right?
Yeah. Okay.
The one place that I haven't stopped between Cache Creek and Kamloops is they've got it looks like a cowboy town set right by Dead Man's Gulch or Dead Man Creek between Cache Creek and Kamloops. Yeah, they've got a western town set up. It looks like a movie set.
Oh.
And it's the only place I haven't stopped that I still want to see there.
Oh, cool. So what would be your top ride in BC?
Oh, in
Give me
BC?
a few. Yeah, in BC. Just give me a couple.
Because
there's a lot of really great
I was going to
rides.
say Deadwood.
Is that okay?
South Dakota.
South Dakota's your top?
Oh, yeah, I love Deadwood.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can Deadwood or Virginia City. Those are two of my
where's
favorite.
Virginia City?
Nevada.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just north of Reno.
Okay.
Because Virginia City is like a cowboy set, the real thing.
It's still like the
original, like Deadwood, the original wooden town burnt down.
Yeah.
And they replaced it all with brick.
That's right, yeah.
But Virginia City is the old original cowboy town. Like, you put dirt on the streets and horses on there, and you got a cowboy movie.
Gotcha.
And they got all the original saloons are now casinos.
Hilarious. Do they still have the wooden sidewalks? And
really? Yeah. Oh yeah. Everything's there.
Sweet.
Yeah, it is. I go into the Bucket of Blood saloon.
Oh Jesus.
And go in and fire up a smoke, because it's Nevada, man. You can go out, fire up a smoke inside. They've went into the Delta Saloon, which has the suicide table upstairs. But in the Delta Saloon, they got this one-armed bandit down there, and I tried my luck in a one-armed bandit for $25, and the prize was this golden revolver. I figure, what am I going to do if I win this thing?
Yeah, can't bring it back home.
Right.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
I've been to Tombstone.
Okay.
There's a few of the original buildings there, but it's not that.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound anywhere
I haven't been that far south. The farthest south I've been is Sydney, Nebraska. Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't gone much farther south than that.
I've driven, like, I don't ride, but I drive.
Yeah.
You know, I enjoy driving, and Arizona's worth seeing. Same with Utah. Just beautiful country. But
Utah. I've been to Utah.
Yeah. So that's.
I went to Arches.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, you went to Arches. Yeah, it's beautiful. Arches is great.
That was cool.
If anyone's thinking of going, worth going. Can't go now, but soon we'll be able to travel there again.
Moab's a couple of cute
Moab's
restaurants around Moab.
Yeah, Moab's good.
Yeah.
Good little town. I went mountain biking in Moab when I was like
that's right,
21 years old or something, 22.
Yeah.
Yeah, did a few days of mountain biking out there. It was pretty awesome.
Yep.
Slick Rock.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was good.
So what about Deadwood? Now, backtrack one sec. To get to Virginia City, is the ride good getting down there too?
Yeah.
Or is it kind of like...
We did the roundabout way, and it was so long ago I figured exactly how we got there.
Yeah.
But that was part of the tour. We're going to Reno. We're going to Vegas. So it was part of that.
And you were on your bikes?
Yeah. So it was part of that loop.
Right. And what about Deadwood? How'd you get there?
Bike
as well.
That's,
What's Deadwood look like?
Any ride through South Dakota
is it good still?
Is a good ride, yeah.
Is that where Wall is?
Wall, South Dakota, yeah.
Yeah, I've been to Wall.
That's on I-90.
Yeah, I've been to Wall.
I got to tell you a story about Wall. We're headed, we're coming from the east, so we're coming from back east somewhere, and across I-90 like this.
Yeah, so are we.
And we're
coming back from Windsor, Ontario. We were visiting family.
All right.
Yeah.
So we're on the bikes, and I'm listening to the radio, and the sky's looking a little rough in front of us.
Oh yeah, because you could see like.
Oh, you could see.
If you haven't been there, it's like you could see like 100 miles.
You could watch a dog run away for days.
Yeah, it truly is as flat as piss on a plate over there. It's just unreal.
And I'm listening to a baseball game on the radio, and all of a sudden the guy comes on, and there's a tornado warning for this county, this county, this county. And we don't know what the fuck.
Where the fuck are we?
Where the fuck are we? Are we in there? Yeah, man, I see the clouds and it looks like a rain, thing over there. And so I get on the CB to Bob and I say, Bob, there's a
Bob's your
tornado.
travel partner.
Yeah. And we both got CBs. And I say, listen, there's tornado watches around, so we got to keep our eyes open. And we're getting closer and closer to wall.
Yeah.
And this cloud wall is getting closer and closer. We get to our motel and we just park the bikes under an overhang, and this freaking cloud lets loose. No tornado, but man, there was a space between the two buildings. And then you see these hurricane TV on the weather shows, right? Where the rain is just horizontal between them. Wow. That's what it was like.
Oh God, that was like
sucked
being stuck on the highway.
We got off the bike by then. But then the back end of this cloud, so the cloud went by, the storm went by, the sun was shining on the back end of this huge freaking cloud. You could still see the lightning flashes going on inside the cloud. Yeah. It was a beautiful sight, man. I took a bunch of pictures of this cloud just receding off into the distance. But that's my wall story. I've been to Wall like 3-4 times, eh?
Oh yeah.
That's quite an interesting town.
We were just I was just probably 18 or 19. I think I was maybe 19 when we were in Wall. It was on a family trip. It was like my last family trip. We went to visit folks back, family back in Ontario, Montreal. Yeah. So we drove across Canada on the way there, went through maybe Sault Ste. Marie on the way there, and then went south, and then came up north through Detroit into Windsor. Does that make sense? Yeah. But then on the way back, we drove the States all the way. And there's got to be 1,000 miles before Wall. There's got to be signs for Wall Drug.
Not only that,
there's like signs everywhere for Wall Drug, and we're like, what the hell is Wall Drug? So we went
on that same road. Did you notice there's a sign for Butchart Gardens?
Yeah. I know.
I'm going, what the hell? These guys are
Butchart
everywhere.
Gardens are like 2,000 miles away, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There used to be, I can't remember exactly where, but it was coming over the Grapevine, maybe into L.A. There was a sign for Butchart Gardens there, too.
I didn't
somewhere
see that
there. Yeah.
I've been over the Grapevine once.
Yeah, okay, yeah. It was like you see the sign, it's like, what the hell? It's like, that's like 2 days drive.
Isn't it funny? You hear all this noise about California, blah, 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 California, Malibu, blah, blah, blah. You never hear about the Grapevine.
Yeah.
And yet, that is a formidable
Oh yeah,
getting Cars into California.
You drive.
There's those water stations by the side of the road, eh?
Absolutely, yeah. When you're driving out of LA over the Vine, you'll see like burnt out cars on the side of the road.
Yeah,
just like a spot where the car was, and it's like all the asphalt is like blackened. And
when
cars are overheating. Turn off your AC. Yeah, it's a
the last time I came back north over the Grapevine. There was a big lineup, right? Heading southbound. Traffic was backed up for miles.
Oh.
And okay, there must have been a fucking MVA down at the bottom, right? Sure enough, at the bottom, there was California Highway Patrol car on its roof.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, and the guy had croaked.
Oh, shit.
He'd been chasing somebody and lost it.
Yeah.
Coming down the Grapevine.
Yeah, no, it's too steep. It's a big, long hill. Because you can see all of LA from up there.
Yeah.
And the first time I drove over that, again, it was a family vacation, and you look at LA, it's like you can literally see the dome of smog covering the city. It's unbelievable.
Didn't you take your 510 over that?
I did.
Yeah,
made it.
Yeah.
What we used to do in the 510, we would turn the heat on to give that, because it's like an extra radiator, right?
Yeah,
it's 110 degrees.
Yeah.
We don't have any AC. It's like a 1972 510.
Yeah.
And windows down, quarter windows open, vents open, because you got the vents, and heat on, and it made it okay with that.
Yeah,
because that car ran hot at the best of times.
Did you replace a rad in it? Do you double core it or anything?
I don't remember. I don't know if I did. I think it was just a
stock rad.
It was a stock rad, but it had been rebuilt.
Okay,
like a new core put in it. So I don't know what they did for the core, but I did on that holiday. I was driving from LA to Palm Springs on the 10, just ripping. It was about 3 in the afternoon, 4 in the afternoon, and just ripping left lane, killing it, dude, making great time. And I'm like, God damn, I'm smelling some like sweetness, that antifreeze sweetness. I'm smelling it. But look at my heat gauge. I'm running good, right? Yeah. We're just keep going. We're just whipping in. Get into Palm Springs. I can't remember exactly where we were, but just at the beginning of Palm Springs or somewhere just off of 10, we pull off. There's a rest area. I look down at my heat. Boom, it was on the red. Pull off into this tourist information. Pull off, shut the car off right away because I don't want to fry the engine. Like, what the fuck's going on? Open the hood. The top seam of the rad had split. And this hot steam, my 510 was just freshly built at this time. Like, it was pretty new. And the engine bay was like pristine.
Yeah. Not anymore.
Not anymore. The top seam split and heat stripped all the paint off the valve cover.
Whoa.
Like, it took the paint off and the whole engine compartment was black.
Yeah.
Because that rusty, shitty antifreeze water.
Yeah. And it's surprising, nothing came up in the windshield.
Nothing. No sign of it other than like a faint smell.
That's
right?
amazing.
I know.
That's amazing.
So I'm like, well, what the hell are we going to do? So I go into the tourist information. I'm like, I'm broken down. It's getting late now. It's probably 5 o'clock. Everything's closing down. And I'm like, I can fix this myself. I got a toolkit in the car. I can fix this myself. I just need to get somewhere where I can get some solder.
JB
weld. No, I actually, this is what I did. So the guy, one of the people working there drove me to like a hardware store.
Yeah.
I picked up like a propane tank and some flux and a propane torch and some flux and some solder and a little wire brush. Came back. We pull the rad out in the parking lot. And I'm like, what a mess, right? Because it's just wet and shitty. Yeah. But I finally get the solder to flow in there and seal up. I don't know how the hell I did it. Didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
Put the thing back together. Fill it with water. Perfect.
No problem.
No problem. Ran up to the Mojave Desert and spent 3 days camping in the desert.
Yeah.
Drove it home on that same rad. Sold the car with the same radiator that I repaired in the parking lot in Palm Springs.
But with new paint on the valve cover.
The engine compartment was never the same again.
No.
I would have to pull the motor to get it right.
I know. You talk about roadside repairs. My Cortina GT had this little air cleaner on it with 4 nuts. Yeah. Right? 4 little fucking tiny nuts like this. I don't know. I'm fucking around with it somehow, right? And I drop one of those nuts down a carburetor, right? At the side of the road, because it's not overhead cam, I pulled the head off. I pulled the head off, lifted it up far enough
to get your fingers
to get the fingers in and get the nut out.
Holy shit.
The whole time I'm cursing myself for dropping this thing down the carburetor.
Why were you fucking around with the air cleaner on the side of the...
Who knows?
Oh, there was something happened.
I don't know. Yeah. Something happened.
Yeah.
Right.
And what was that? Was that a 1600 in that? The cross flow?
Yep.
Yeah.
It was a great little car. It had the 3 add-on gauges at the top of the dash. Yeah. But just had a shit transmission on it.
Yeah.
The thing was always...
Would it pop out of first?
Second.
Oh, yeah. So if you didn't hold it into second,
you could, but I mean, if you put the boots to it, it would bang and scare the shit out of you.
Oh,
right?
I've heard it come out of first like that. Yeah. It's, Jesus, it sounds like...
Which car was that? Your midget?
No, it was, I don't know if it was, it wasn't my car.
First gear's unusual, man, because first gears are straight cut, eh? They're non-synchro.
Okay. Yeah, so maybe it wasn't first. Maybe I'm misremembering. Maybe it was second. It might have been in my brother's car.
Yeah.
My brother's Anglia.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it sounds like a bomb goes off when that thing pops out. Jesus. It's the worst.
And you know what? The racing Anglia never had any problems with the engine, transmission, no problems with the drivetrain at all. I had no problems with that car, period. That thing, I put it away. I wouldn't even put fuel stabilizer in it, right? And the thing,
just go.
Next fall, it fired up, pissed the neighbors off because it was a straight exhaust, right? Parked in my driveway. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Cool. That thing was I love Anglias, man. I got a soft spot in my heart for Anglias. Yeah. That's why building David's Anglia was so much fun for me.
Yeah, they're cool, aren't they?
Oh,
yeah, they're neat little cars.
Yeah.
So, BC, travel guide. If a guy's got to go on a ride or a drive and wants to cruise a road, what are you...
Duffy Lake.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. Duffy Lake's
Duffy Lake,
fantastic.
that's just north of Whistler for anyone that doesn't know.
Yeah, you go up through Whistler, Squamish, Pemberton, up through the Indian Reserve there, which didn't used to be paved. The first time I did that, it was all dirt through there.
Yeah.
Through the reserve. Then, and I got a buddy that lives in Lillooet, so I always stop off and see him.
So you drive Duffy Lake all the way up to what's the first town you hit after Whistler?
It's either Squamish or Pemberton.
No, north, going north. It's Pemberton.
It's
Pemberton.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
so that's it. You would just keep driving that all the way through?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great drive.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's terrific.
Highway 5A.
Oh, yeah.
Out of Princeton north towards Merritt.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a beauty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
5A is beautiful. Yeah. That's interesting.
It's like mountains on one side, little fishing lakes on the other side.
And then it comes, because if you go Princeton to Merritt,
I've driven it both ways.
Yeah, that's 5A. But it's cool because you go to Princeton, it's all through forests and
Yes.
that, and then you get up into the high ground.
Yeah.
You go up, like the high prairie up into Merritt.
Yeah.
But have you ever done the Coldwater Road?
I'm not sure. Where's that?
You're
think I
going
have.
up. Yeah.
Because you told me to do it.
Yeah. If you're going up the Coquihalla, you see the Coldwater exit.
No, I have not.
You take the Coldwater exit.
Okay.
It takes you parallel to the Coquihalla, but you end up going all back roads, rural back roads, right up through to Merritt.
Really?
Yeah.
So you'd be coming like
you come up in the south end of Merritt.
Towards Merritt from wherever, Kelowna.
No. From Hope.
From Hope. Okay. Oh, okay. I got you.
So
you're going from Hope, take the Coldwater exit.
Take the Coldwater exit, take Coldwater Road, and it parallels. It's all nice 2-lane, beautiful, curvy road.
I have never driven that.
Well,
Son of a bitch.
Do it. There you go.
Okay, that sounds cool.
And it's all rural. It's all 2-lane. It's all good road.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just a slow little road and just a great little drive.
Mm-hmm. I did the Alaska Highway.
How far north did you go?
Well, far to Yukon.
Yeah?
Yeah. Right
Sweet.
to Watson, through Watson Lake. But that wasn't on a bike. That was when I was in the ambulance.
Okay.
We were transferring ambulances from one station to another. We opened up the ambulance station at Cassiar. We delivered them a new vehicle. We overnighted.
Goddamn recycling truck. We're outside.
We overnighted in Cassiar. We had breakfast at the Hendricks Gold Mine, coming back on the Stuart Cassiar. We came back on the Stuart Cassiar, and keep in mind, this is January, February, something like that. It's
cold.
Fucking cold, yeah. Went into Liard Hot Springs.
Where's that?
At the top of the Stuart Cassiar.
Okay.
Went in there. We didn't
So
go
explain to me the Stuart Cassiar. It's a highway that goes from where to where?
From Stuart up to Cassiar and eventually to Watson Lake.
Okay.
Another cool town up there is Atlin.
Yes.
Atlin is fabulous town. It's an old gold mining town.
Is it a ghost town now?
There's two towns. There's the old town, which is basically a ghost town, and up on the bench is a new town.
Okay.
Right? But Atlin itself is amazing old town. It's a gold rush town. There's abandoned steam shovels there.
Oh,
like
sweet.
Steam shovels that are built out of wood that have the bucket. Remember when you were a kid, they had the bucket that comes up like this with a trap door in the bottom?
Yeah.
All this old mining equipment is abandoned there.
They just put it on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Too expensive to move.
Well, they couldn't.
Yeah, they couldn't move it, I guess, yeah.
Because there was, the only way in and out of there at that time was, I think, by boat.
Oh, Jesus.
There is an old, it looks like a paddle wheeler, pulled up on the shore, and it's on sawhorses, right? But it's been up there so long, it has collapsed onto the sawhorses, so the hull looks like this, right? But instead of a paddle wheel at the back, it's got screws.
Oh.
But it's been there since 1936.
Wow.
Yeah. Hasn't
check
moved.
that out.
And the old town is beautiful. They still got the boardwalks. You know the Gastown clock?
Yes.
Right?
The
steam
clock,
right?
yeah.
Well, they have a clock that's like that. It's not a steam clock, but it's an old clock on a pedestal on the boardwalk outside what used to be a jeweler's. And they've got the windows all boarded up, but if you look through the windows, you can still see the shelves and the counters. Like it could open up tomorrow as a store.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And that's in Atlan.
That's in Old Town Atlan. And the graveyard is amazing. You go into the graveyard. It's like going into the graveyard in Deadwood, right?
Yeah. I've been to the graveyard in Tombstone. Boot Hill.
Boot Hill.
Yeah.
That's stuff like that's interesting, right?
Yeah, I like it.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's neat to see that old stuff.
And
it just kind of, I like going to those places and kind of like imagining what life would have been like there. Before,
well, if you want to do that, you want that kind of experience, go to Barkerville.
I haven't been, but it's on the list.
Go to Barkerville because I wrote a
trek.
story about Barkerville too.
Oh yeah,
watching the ghosts walk by. That's how I sold it to the editor.
Mm-hmm.
So I went up there and I stayed overnight. There's 3 places where you can stay overnight in Barkerville.
Yeah.
So there's 2 hotels.
So it's a provincial park
and
now,
one
right?
B&B,
Yeah.
But the thing is, the beautiful thing is, they've got people there who walk through town in period dress. Mm. So there's a guy walking through like Judge Begbie. There's men and women walking through town. You know, they'll come up and they'll be in total character. So they'll say, "How did you get to Barkerville?" And I'll say, "I rode a motorcycle." They say, "What's that?"
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yeah,
and I said, "It's Iron Horse."
Yeah, yeah, it's an Iron Horse.
But it's totally cool. And I found when I'm writing a story, it's much more interesting because then you're into bringing the characters out.
Right.
Because the more you bring the characters out, you know, you might find something for your story, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and we stayed in the hotel, and the lady who up there was the postmaster, as well as running this hotel. And she put me in a room upstairs, and she says it's the hurdy-gurdy room.
What?
It's where
the hurdy-gurdy girls.
Yeah. So it's where one of the girls committed suicide. So she says it might be haunted.
Right.
So we sat out on the veranda. Her and I sat out on the veranda, and drinking my Jack and smoking a cigar and waiting for the ghost to walk by. Eh? And pitch black, nobody there, no street lights, nothing.
Right. The stars must have been good.
It was good.
Yeah.
It was in a good. It
Those
was an
hurdy-gurdy
experience.
girls were interesting. They were not.
They were hookers.
No, I've heard that they weren't hookers.
Oh yeah, well that's not what I heard.
I heard that they were not women of ill repute. They were.
What else would they be?
Well, that's what I was wondering.
It's a gold rush town.
Right? I thought they were girls that were. I thought that they were the original gold digger.
Geishas.
The original gold digger.
You think they were like geishas?
No.
You probably think a gentleman's club. It's where everybody stands around and be polite, right?
Isn't it? I've never been.
Yeah, right.
Oh no, that's I had read something about the hurdy-gurdy girls, and that they weren't prostitutes. They were looking for a man, but not having sex for money. Okay, I'm naive. Hey, I'm just...
You're young.
Young and dumb. Okay, fair enough. And was there a backstory about why she killed herself up there?
No
backstory.
It would, could have been any number of things, right?
Yeah.
The isolation could have been lost love. It could have been she was abused. It could have been anything, right?
Yeah. What's that road you told me to drive off of Highway 3? There's that old junk. Oh. What?
I wrote a story about that too.
Oh, yes, that's right. You told me to drive it, and I drove it.
It's the old Headley Road.
Headley Road.
Yeah.
Headley?
Headley. Yeah. It's off Highway 3. Out of Princeton.
Nope.
Yeah.
No, we're talking further. I'm talking closer to Nelson. There's like an old antique type or an old general store, and it's got a bunch of old antique-y...
Oh, that's the road to Creston. Yeah. That's a road from Balfour Ferry down to Creston.
Okay.
And that's
a little ferry takes you across the lake, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And
what's that?
That is called Sirdar, the Sirdar General Store.
Sirdar General Store. Yeah.
Man, it's right out of the late 19th century.
Yeah, like 20s.
That thing is a general store from 1911.
And just full of shit. Just chock full of junk. But
no neon lights. It's got all incandescent lights. Yeah. And you walk in there, it's got the wood floor, and it creaks and you smell the dust. Yeah. And the beautiful thing, because a woman from Vancouver took it over with her daughter, she bought the store lock, stock, and barrel. All the old stock that was on the shelves, the antique stuff, she moved up onto the top shelves.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So it's a neat. She's gone now.
Yeah.
And her daughter's running the store.
Well, the last time I was there was years ago, and it was it was neat to see. And we were trying to buy something, hardly a fucking thing that you want to buy in there. It was just full of shit, you know?
I always go in there and buy something.
Yeah, me too. We bought something, but because it's like a cool little store, but it's like, fuck, you know? Put something I can buy. Like,
let's talk about the old Headley Road.
Okay. I've never up to the Headley Mine. That's the mine, the old mining town, right?
That's the mascot. Well, you're thinking about the mascot mine on the top of the hill.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. I've never driven.
No, Headley, the old Headley Road, it's an interesting history. I wrote a story on that too.
Okay.
Started off as an Indian path, right?
And are we talking about Highway 3?
We're talking parallel to Highway 3
okay,
at the north side of the Similkameen River.
Okay, I have not.
So Highway 3
that.
goes to the south side of Similkameen out of Princeton.
Okay.
This road, you pick it up, you go north on 5A until you get to the lumberyard. And you make a right and you go through the lumberyard, and that starts the old Headley Road. And it's marked Old Headley Road.
Okay.
It started off as an Indian path, and then when gold was discovered up there, the miners used to use it. Then it was a stagecoach road.
Okay.
And then it got paved, and it was the main road because Highway 3 used to be the railroad tracks.
Oh,
That's why that stretch is so straight going out of Headley. That used to be the railroad tracks. Until in 1954, I think they took the railroad out and they paved over and made it the highway. But the old Headley Road, if you go along it, the legend is that because the border was so porous back then, the U.S. cavalry, the U.S. Army came up through there. And they came up through there to avoid some Indian trouble down in northern Washington State.
Okay. What year would have that been?
Oh, 1800s.
Yeah.
You know, mid 1800s, maybe early 1800s.
Canada might not have even been a country.
Before there was, I think before they discovered gold. It was an army guy who discovered gold down near, the name escapes me, man. These names are starting to go, eh?
Yeah.
Just farther down, up Highway 3. But Army used to come up by there, and the
fucking recycling.
The story is the natives massacred them.
Right.
And what the natives used to do was when they buried their people in a scree slope, you know, the talus slope with all the scattered rock and stuff like this, they would bury somebody there among the rocks, and they would put a pole in there.
Okay.
A stick, like a gravestone.
Yeah.
Miners were coming through there, and they found a cavalry sword stuck in there. And the story is they dug and they found U.S. Army patrol there.
Holy shit! And that's on the Similkameen.
Yeah, that's on the old Headley Road, on one of the slopes. And if you go down the old Headley Road, there are Indian pictographs, right? And it's an eyeball with eyelashes and an eyeball, and in the pupil there's a little stick man, and they're all facing southeast.
Oh, okay.
Because they used to go trade at there used to be a break in the mountains there. They used to go trade with the Plains Indians down at not Greenwood, but down in around Enderby. Not Enderby.
No. Green. If you're thinking Greenwood, you're thinking
down towards Greenwood Midway down there, right?
Yeah.
So they used to trade
basically right on the American border.
They used to trade with the Plains Indians, but what they were afraid of, the Indians in Princeton, what they were afraid of is because they had ochre. They had multicolored ochre, which they used for dye, for face paint, for dyeing clothes and stuff like that. That was on the riverbank on the Similkameen River, right around Princeton.
Yeah.
So that's why they settled there, and they traded down there. And so these eyeballs were assigned to anybody coming up
that were watching
the train.
You, basically.
We're watching you, right?
Cool.
Yeah. There's also pictographs by. There's a great big boulder in the middle of the river there. There's also a pictograph of an overturned canoe. So it's a warning, that this is dangerous. There's also the prisoner pictograph there, where it's got 3 or 4 stick figures with rope between their necks. So they're all connected by ropes.
Huh.
And
these are all easily findable?
no, they're not really.
No.
They're not really. You have to be looking for them.
Yeah.
And you have to more or less know. You have to be looking for them. If you're looking for them, you can find where they are.
Yeah.
All right. But I talked to an anthropologist that was there because while I was doing the story, I talked to her about the past of the Indians and stuff like that. She says their oral history that I told her the story about the Army patrol. She says she never heard that. But their oral history says they've never been defeated.
Right.
Up in there.
Interesting.
So.
Yeah. So.
I mean, it could be true. A lot of these rumors, there's some basis in truth to them, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The oral history comes from truths.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the old Gedey Road's kind of interesting.
I'll have to drive that one day.
Oh man, it's a beautiful drive. It's 2-lane. The road is not as good as Highway 3.
Right.
But it's an old 2-lane road, and it goes like this, follows the river, follows the topography and that.
Up and down. And
interesting drive. There's places to camp along there. There is a park.
Yeah.
I think it's Stemwinder Park is somewhere along there.
Yeah.
For years, I went along there, and there was an old burnt motorhome in the park, and I just left it there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Oh, and coming through there one year, going through Highway 3 one year, which way am I headed? I'm headed into Karameas. Karameas is that town I was trying to think of.
Oh, okay.
Right, where they traded?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm going
Karameas is just a little bit before Midway
Grand
and
Forks.
Greenwood.
Grand Forks.
Yeah.
Just inside of Grand Forks. So I'm going into Karameas, and I'm looking at my mirror, and coming from the west, there's this freaking storm, man, coming from the west, right? And so I'm stopping in there. I'm saying, I'm not riding any further. I'm not letting this overtake me. So I pull in, grab a room, real nice lady, B&B. She let me park the bike in the courtyard and stuff like that. And I went, and I went down and sat in the restaurant and just waited for the storm to pass. I was going overnight there anyway.
Yeah.
And there's people walking into the restaurant after me, about 45 minutes after me, walking in. Their eyes are like this, right? Like, holy shit. So I says, what happened? There was a landslide.
Oh.
There was a huge rainstorm, and the landslide came across Highway 3, closed Highway 3.
Holy shit.
Right? So there was one guy in a Jeep that actually drove over because it was maybe this deep, but it was gravel.
Right, yeah.
And he had nothing to lose. It wasn't still moving, and he drove over it. But this is one of the guys that came in. His fucking eyes are like saucers, right?
Jesus.
So the road closed right after I went through it.
Yeah. There's a couple big slides that have happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of thing. And you wouldn't expect it. You look at the topography, right? And the hills are, they're a quarter of a mile away. And the land coming down to it slopes very gradually.
Right, but just enough volume of material.
There must have been a huge volume of water to carry this from not much of a slope
all
across
the way across the
highway.
Yeah.
So
if you haven't, I mean, I know you have, but if anyone listening has not driven Highway 3 from Hope,
that's the way to go,
Princeton, all the way through, stop for ice cream in Greenwood, the little
the brass kettle.
Yeah, with the little hot rod, the hot rod out front,
the
all
55
those little
Chevy sedan delivery.
Yeah, with all these little towns, all the way. I drove that all the way from Lethbridge.
Oh yeah,
home.
Yeah.
What a great drive.
Whenever I go east, I take Highway 3.
Yeah, it's a beaut.
Yeah,
takes a little longer, but it's just it's so much
scenic.
more relaxing and scenic.
Yeah, the road goes like this. I mean, if you're in a hurry, take Highway 1.
Yeah.
Doesn't guarantee you're going to get there on Highway 1.
No.
Because look at how many times it's been closed this year already.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, Revelstoke.
Oh, jeez.
It's closed at Revelstoke for the same thing, a big slide across the road.
Now, Revelstoke, going through Highway 1 through Revelstoke's cool. I do like that. It's pretty through there. Mm-hmm. We camped up there a couple days.
But, me and Bruce took a trip across Canada, and we took Highway 1. We didn't make it.
Yeah, you didn't make it across, did you? What month was that?
It was June, maybe.
Yeah, you didn't
June?
make it. You guys got stuck somewhere.
We're going back to Thunder Bay because my nephew was going to get married there.
Yeah, and you didn't make it.
We made it as far as Swift Current, Saskatchewan,
And it was
man,
flooded out, right?
Riding into Swift Current, Saskatchewan, man. We rode into town, and the clouds are low, and they're ominous, and we're looking up, and there's this thing that looks like it's starting to circulate like this, and we're going, oh, that doesn't look good, man.
Yeah.
So we got into Swift Current, and we got a motel at the Motel K, which the sign was all burnt out, and it was
some shitty little.
It was
spot.
it was perfect for us,
Yeah.
right? Because it was all single story at the back. We got stuck there. The people in Swift Current were fantastic.
Oh, nice.
Because we went into the bar there, and we said, look, we're stuck here. What do we do? And one of the guys says, listen, I've got some old farm equipment. Why don't you come on and have a look at that? He'd restored a bunch of old John Deere tractors.
Yeah.
They got a dirt track there, a dirt oval that they raced dirt racers on,
Nice.
like sprint cars.
Yeah.
And they had an old rebuilt town. It's kind of like, the old Chinatown, but it's all the old buildings, so the old pioneer buildings. They moved into this one area. But this guy showed us his old restored farm equipment. He had these old engines that you see up in the Central Saanich farm thing there.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Had those. He fired that up for us. He had this one auger machine that took grain, and you put it into this auger, and it would come up, and it would load it up into a truck or a bin or something like this. All this restored stuff. It was brand new. You know how you start one of those old John Deere diesel tractors? Right, it's got a huge flywheel on the side, right? So you set up a couple of things with the gauges and set you can't set it advanced because it's diesel, right?
Yeah.
He starts spinning this flywheel by hand. This giant flywheel, it's got to weigh 600 pounds, but he's swinging it around by hand. Eventually it gets going, and eventually it gets going fast enough, the diesel fires up.
Jesus.
It's a 2-cylinder diesel. John Deere.
Super low RPM, super high torque.
Yeah. It looks like brand new, right?
Yeah.
Because this guy, yeah. He says this tractor used to be my dad's, right? So
neat. Yeah, that's cool.
Those people, it's like one of my heroes, Clement Salvadori from Rider magazine. He's been writing travel stuff for 20 years. He says, the destination's not the journey is the journey.
Yeah.
And people you meet along the way, the kindness of strangers, we've run into that so many times.
Sure, yeah.
And as often as we can, we try and pass it on, eh?
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Good philosophy. Good way to travel. Yeah.
And if I hadn't got lost on the highway and taken the road to North Dakota instead of the road to South Dakota one year, I would never have discovered the Bigfoot River, the Bighorn River, okay? Because I got off, traveled down the length of the Bighorn River to the Battle of the Little Bighorn.
Oh, okay.
Where that meets I-90, I think it is, right?
Okay.
You ever been there?
No, never been there.
Oh, that's great. Because if you see the battle, you could see it was a running battle. And they put the gravestones where the guys went down.
Oh, jeez.
So they're not all in one spot. They're just scattered all up this hill. And then there's a few at the top of the hill, and then there's a couple on the other side.
God.
You can tell it's a running battle. So that was interesting.
Yeah. Cool.
And Mount Rushmore.
Great. I've been to Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore. Have you been to, what's that one of the big column, where they film Close Encounters? Yeah, it's a great big volcanic extrusion.
Oh, no.
You ever seen...
I've seen Close Encounters.
Well, it's that fucking mountain.
I don't remember. I don't remember it exactly, though.
Well, it was based on that. It was based all around that.
Where they were communicating with the spaceship with the
where
lights?
everybody was on top and they had the landing area.
Ah, shit, I don't remember.
What is the name of that? Anyway, there's a KOA right at the bottom of that, and I stayed at the bottom of that. Every night they put up a sheet on the side of the KOA building, and they show that movie, Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Hilarious.
What is the name of that? I'm going to be watching this and say, it's this, you dummy.
Yeah, maybe I'll put the name. We'll Google it. I'll put the name up after.
Something I forgot to mention. When I was in Kamloops, one of the things I did that gives me a great deal of pride when I remember it was this. Oh, come on.
We were in Kamloops? Dead air.
Well, I'm looking.
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for my like songs. It says your like songs will apply here. I want to play you a song because it was a theme song of this program we had in Kamloops called The Ride of Your Life.
Okay.
And it was the Cars. Why won't this do it?
That's okay. Tell me the song.
The Cars. Who's
Okay.
going to drive you home tonight?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Who's going to drive you home tonight? Right? That was a theme song for 2 years there. You know the carnage on grad night,
Yes.
right? The typical carnage in a
Yes.
small town of grad night.
Yeah.
Kamloops had 3 high schools,
Right.
right? And their grad nights were all on different nights.
Yeah.
So what we did was I put together something. So I had the Chrysler dealer, McAuliffe Dodge, gave us 5 minivans to use for the night. We set up a radio system. We set up a phone number in dispatch. We printed out cards. We got free gas from Chevron.
Mm-hmm.
We got free coffee all night if we wanted coffee from Tim Hortons. And we had airtime at the radio station. They
Okay.
donated airtime.
Yeah, cool.
And so this was our theme song. Who's going to drive you home tonight?
Right. And you would get the
We handed out the cards at the high schools, and the whole idea was you phone this phone number, and a van would come and pick you up from a party and take you to another party,
whatever. Yeah.
so that you didn't have to get into a car with a drinking driver.
Yeah. That's
And
great.
we did that 3 times a year for 2 years
Cool.
until I transferred out of there.
Right.
But I don't know, we didn't have any fatalities that either of those 2 years.
Right.
And before then, they had obviously,
Right,
just
too
by
many.
luck of the numbers, there's obviously a number of drunk fatalities and, young kids. So who knows what benefit that provided, but I feel proud of the fact that I got it going, and we
Yeah.
did that for 2 years.
Yeah.
And thank you to all the boys in Kamloops who helped me through that program. All our guys who were drivers, all ambulance guys who were drivers of the vans. But we did have one incident. On West Shore Road, there was a van that ran head-on into a Toyota Corolla wagon. The girl in the Corolla wagon was not wearing her seatbelt. And this Dodge van ran head-on, and the guy in the Dodge van was drunk. It took us an hour to get her out of the car because she was submarined and her all busted up underneath
She died
the
or
dashboard.
Okay.
We got her out alive.
Okay.
All right. But all the guys in the vans with the kids converged on the scene to help the guys on the scene, right?
Right.
Provide extra ambulance hands.
Right.
The kids stayed in the car, but some of the kids got out and they watched this, and they watched her. She screamed through the whole time, right? The whole hour trying to get her out.
Yeah.
Eventually, we got her out, and she died a couple of days later, but it was a fat embolism that killed her.
Oh fuck.
And when you break the large bones, the marrow
Yeah.
in the side will somehow get into the bloodstream. And one of those emboli got out and killed her. That was a few days after.
Right.
But that was like a shining example, not to drink and drive.
Yeah.
And I hope it drove it home to those kids.
Yeah.
But thankfully that year, those 2 years, we didn't have any fatalities with kids.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. And that's a great program.
Well,
Yeah,
it was.
kids are gonna do stupid shit. They're gonna drink. They're gonna do drugs and stuff. But just don't fucking drive.
Well, the interesting thing was when we're driving around to all these different parties, we see somebody in a car, right? They say, "Have you been drinking?" And they say, no, I'm the designated driver. I was really impressed at the number of kids who had the smarts
to drive,
who had designated drivers from another high school.
Oh, so not their night.
Their grad night was the next time, and they would split the role. So
cool.
I was really happy to see that. I was encouraged to see that.
Yeah.
So the kids were getting their shit together up there.
Yeah.
And I hope it's still like that today, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Kamloops is a cool little town, actually.
I liked it, man. I loved it.
Annie
didn't like it.
Yeah, my wife doesn't like it there either.
No, but
it's a great little town.
The fishing was fabulous. There's so many great fishing lakes around there.
In all of the province in Kamloops. And the river, the park by the river.
Riverside Park.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Really nice.
That's nice. And minor hockey, I went to every minor hockey game up there. The Kamloops Blazers.
Yeah.
Because it was there, it's available. The parking was no problem, you know, getting to and from it. It was great. Kenny Hitchcock was the coach.
Who's that?
Remember big fat Kenny Hitchcock? He coached Detroit for a while.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't know
he became an NHL coach.
Cool.
And I think it was Detroit that he was coaching for a bit.
Cool.
Detroit had one of my all-time favorite coaches, Jacques Lemaire.
Yeah.
Coaching him, man. When he threw that bench out onto the ice, I figured, all right, Jacques. Detroit was one of my favorite teams.
Yeah. Tough city, tough players.
Oh, man. Yeah. They weren't good, but Jacques Lemaire was fabulous.
Cool. Well, this has been fun, bud. Pretty fun.
Is that it?
Well, it could be. Doesn't have to be, but we have no time restraints here.
Well, I can't, unless you can pump me, I can't think of anything more. You know, it's cool.
Tell me about that pig you ran over.
Oh, fuck.
So okay, Bill and I have known each other for a long time, right?
I was in Trenton, and I had my BSA, and we had a farm north of Belleville. 5 guys had a farm.
So you were like going to school at this time, right?
No, I was in the restaurant business.
Oh, okay.
So I was assistant manager. This guy was a manager. We rented this farmhouse, and we had 3 other guys with us. So it was 5 of us guys in the house.
Living in a house.
Yeah,
renting
in a
the
rented
house.
farmhouse, right?
Yeah.
And that's where I had my motorcycle. That's where I had my BSA. And there was another guy there with a BSA, Thunderbolt, right? Dutchman, Vince. There was Kenny Holland, who turned out to be my best man, and Doug, who used to be the manager of the restaurant. And so we had a tiny little barn out the back of the thing. This thing had like 50 acres, right?
Yeah.
Had a wood bush at the back, so we'd go and collect wood at the back and bring it in for the fireplace. I had an old Volkswagen that had been T-boned at an intersection, and the back wheel went like this. I drove it home, and we used that to go get wood in the back bush. And one morning, I got up, and somebody had filled the Volkswagen full of fucking holes. It looked like the Red Baron had been on its tail.
They shot it up?
Shot it full of holes, man.
What?
Yeah, I got up. We got woke up one morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, by the OPP banging on the door. They found a stolen car in our driveway.
Oh.
Yeah, somebody brought a stolen car to one of our parties. We used to have parties there, man, like crazy. So anyway, in this barn, we had a couple of pigs, a couple of wiener pigs, and they, that long, right?
Yeah.
And we had some chickens, and we had a rooster.
And were you guys responsible for taking care of them?
Oh, yeah. That was Jackson's. It was Jackson's pigs. Jackson's livestock, right?
Okay.
But we all fed it. We brought home
the shit from the restaurant.
It was cool because any of the stuff, the salad stuff, that they peeled off, the old salad stuff, they threw into a bag. We brought home and fed it to the pigs.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
It was perfect.
Yeah.
It was ecologically
we should be doing that
perfect.
now, right?
It was ecologically perfect.
There's farms only like 15 minutes from here.
That's right.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm home alone, and one of the pigs gets out. I don't know how the hell he got out, but I had taken the mufflers off the bike, and it just running straight pipes off the bike.
So
I figured,
great.
Okay, the light bulb goes on. I'm going to go corral this pig with the bike and get along, little doggy.
Right. So the pig's out, and you're hop on your bike.
He's gone down into the field. So I get on the bike, and I'm blasting down the field. And I get in behind him. He starts back towards the barn.
Yeah.
And he goes this way, I go this way, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
He zags. He zags, I zag. He zigs, I zig. Well, one of these times he zigged when he should have zagged, and I hit him like this. Oh. My front wheel goes over him, bump, oink, oink. My motor hits him, oink, oink, and my back wheel runs over him. But it was slow speed, right?
Oh, yeah.
So he gets up, and he's squealing like a pig. And I figure, oh, okay, that's not so bad. But then he starts bleeding out his mouth.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And he starts heading back towards the barn, but he's kind of wobbly.
Yeah.
And eventually, he falls over.
Yeah.
I'm going, fuck, I've killed him.
Yeah.
So how am I going to get him back to the barn, right? So I go back, and there's a toboggan in the barn. So I wrap the rope around my taillight and roll a pig onto the toboggan, take him back up to the barn. And so what am I going to do with him now? Figure, shit, maybe we can eat him.
Yeah.
So I'll at least do a post-mortem on him. So I strung him up, cut him open, and he was fucked inside, I'll tell you. Yeah. He had a flail chest, so the ribs on both sides of his spine were broken. Lacerated his liver, lacerated his lungs. That's why the blood was coming out of his mouth. So he was fucked. And we didn't eat him because I hadn't bled him enough. Right. And he bled mostly into the cavity and stuff like that. Yeah. So we ended up not eating him, but that's my story about. So ever since then, I never worried about run over a dog or a cat or anything pig size at any speed.
Because you can go over, you can get over it.
I can do it, man. I ran over a piece of firewood on the way to the airport.
On your bike?
Yeah.
Which bike?
On the Goldwing.
Oh, Jesus.
One of the Goldwings. It just boom, right over it. It put me airborne.
Yeah, not pleasurable.
But I did it.
Yeah.
It's one of, it's just one of these things that happens. And
yeah.
Are we on?
Yeah, we're on. We're on. Yeah. Well, you've been lucky because you haven't really had a major accident of any kind, really, have you?
I've had a couple of tip overs.
Yeah.
But none of them have been at speed. It's all been parking lot shit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so that's good.
So far, man, 50 years.
Yeah, beautiful.
I was run off the road once on my BSA. A dump truck going the same way ran me off the road into a ditch.
Okay.
And that could have been bad, but it didn't turn out to be too bad.
Yeah.
I didn't go down, didn't hurt myself, didn't hurt the bike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I had another close one with Shelley and those guys behind me. We were up at Toad Rock and Nelson, heading back right to the Balfour Ferry, to the Balfour store there. And this girl with her boyfriend, they're both on separate bikes. They stopped in the middle of the road and turned left into the store, right in front of me.
Oh.
I dynamited the brakes and just luckily had enough space to get around them, right? But Shelley saw this. He was behind me. He saw this and went, holy shit.
Yeah.
Because it could have been bad, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, that was like that time we were running up to Renfrew and those motorcycles pass us. And we're all in decent car. I'm driving my Beamer at the time, and Shelley's in his Porsche and all that. And so they pass us thinking that they're going to leave us, but we're local. We know the road. We're running hard. And they put the one bike passes me, then gets into this corner just out of Jordan River, which is way too tight for him. He puts on the binders. I had to brake or I was going to run into the back of him.
Wow.
And then they go ahead.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you fucking idiots, Yeah, and then they're stopped in the middle of the road. We come around the bend. They're in the middle of the road crossing the road because they missed their turn or something. I don't know where the hell they were going.
Fuck.
Stupid.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Even though you're on a deserted road, you're not necessarily alone.
I've been on a deserted road, man. The Great Central Basin in the States, right? The Great Central Basin, that's where what was the lake used to be? The Glacial Lake, the Great Glacial Lake used to be.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Okay, Great Central Basin, 2-lane road, nobody for like 10 miles either direction.
Yeah.
Bruce and I stop in the middle of the road, and I piss on the yellow line. Just because I can. Another cool place is Dry Falls, Washington.
Yeah?
Yeah. Dry Falls, Washington is like Niagara Falls. It's like 3.5 miles wide. It's way bigger than Niagara Falls. And it's cut a gorge about 13.5 miles long.
But it's dry.
Over
like
the
no more
millennia.
water?
Well, it was Great Central Lake.
Oh, okay.
Lake, I don't know what it was called.
Whatever, yeah.
When the glaciers melted, it filled
created
this lake.
Yeah.
And then
Ice dam?
There was an ice dam,
Yeah.
and then it drained down this natural valley, but it caused this chasm. If you get a chance, go see Dry Falls.
Okay.
It's really interesting. You could see the scour pit where it was at the bottom.
Yeah.
Upstream, you could see little islands with watermarks on it,
Yeah.
where the water used to flow.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Cool.
I wish I knew way more about geology. We're down in California, and I'm down with Bob, and we're at this little town in California, and there's a volcanic crater, right outside of town. And there's these two little islands in the middle of it. One's a darker color than the next one. And I'm looking at this, and I'm going, Jesus, I wish I knew more about geology.
Yeah, just to know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, to know what, that's obviously a volcano, and those obviously old cones. I wish I knew more about geology. And this guy packing this white pickup truck next to me says, I'm a geologist. So he told me the story.
Oh, neat.
Like this one's 100,000 years old, this one's 200,000 years old. I said, do you ride a bike? You want to come with us?
Yeah.
But the geology down in the States, the volcanic geology is amazing. All down through Oregon is amazing geology.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful.
I'll tell you about the story. We did one trip where I spent all through Northern California, up into Oregon, stuff like that, looking for a waitress who would call me honey.
Oh, yeah.
And we finally found her in Bend, Oregon, at Molly's truck stop.
Nice.
A girl came in and said, what do you have, honey? And I said, and this was right near the end of the trip.
Oh, shit.
I thought I was going to strike out, right?
Yeah.
And she said, what do you have, honey? And I said, you made my day, man. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
All this, man.
Yeah, good fun things.
All kind of stories like that.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, very good. That's a wrap for now. We'll get you on again. Some months down the road, we'll talk about something unrelated to.
I don't know. I think I've shot the wad here.
We could figure something else out. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. My coffee's gone cold.
Yeah, everything's gone cold. But all right. Thank you, Mr.
All right,
Bill.
buddy. Pleasure, man.
It's been great. Cheers, bud.
What did you think of that, boys? Did you see the sparks fly? Look at there, a whole bunch of sparks come out of here. I promised you sparks flying.